Hello there, and thank you so much for joining me today for my review of the 2022 Ford Edge in the ST line trim. The Ford Edge is an all-wheel drive SUV that has been around since 2007, and since then it's gone through two generations, most notably in 2015 with its first refresh, followed by its 2019 mid-cycle facelift. In 2021, the Ford Edge introduced a 12-inch touchscreen tablet infotainment system as standard equipment. Now, for those who don't know, the ST line is not actually the same as an ST Ford Edge. An ST Ford Edge has an upgraded engine, transmission, and suspension that gives it track-level performance. The ST line is more of a visual package that offers a sportier look, leather seats, and a more luxurious trim. It does not actually offer any performance upgrades. Unfortunately, the Ford Edge will be discontinued next year, and its last scheduled model year will be in 2023. Ford has said that they're planning to move to electric vehicles, potentially introducing 5 new models starting in 2025. That said, the Ford Edge is far better than I think most people give it credit. It's comfortable with sharp handling and an excellent suspension. I found it very fuel efficient. In fact, I managed to get 26 miles per gallon, which is very impressive for a large SUV. It's also very safe, receiving a 5-star safety rating from the NHTSA. There are some downsides I will cover, but before I continue with this review though, I just want to give a big shout out to our friends at Tripod Photo and Video Marketing on Vancouver Island. We're happy to be one of their clients, and they always give us a hand with putting these videos together. If you're in the Nanaimo area looking for professional photo, video, and drone services, they can help. Link to the website will be in a pinned comment below. So, back to the review. The Ford Edge is a 5-seat mid-size crossover SUV. My review model had all-wheel drive, which was mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission. As for the power plant, the Ford Edge has the inline 2-liter 4-cylinder EcoBoost engine, which is rated for 250 horsepower and 275 foot-pounds of torque. For those who may want to tow, the Ford Edge can tow up to 3,500 pounds, which is unfortunately on the lower end of the scale. If you want a V6 engine, you're going to have to move up to the ST trim. As I said before, fuel economy is rated for 10 liters per 100 kilometers. However, I was able to beat that with mixed driving, which is always a good thing. I managed to get 26 miles per gallon, which is excellent for such a large vehicle. On the Edge, you get remote start straight from the key fob, which is very nice. When we jump inside the Ford Edge, unfortunately I think there could have been some improvements for sure. The panels are hard plastic, and while there are some soft touch areas on the doors, I definitely felt Ford could have done more to improve the interior. Also felt the interior has definitely begun to feel a bit dated. While its design style is prominent in the 2010s, a lot of manufacturers have moved to newer designs. For example, the steering wheel has quite a few buttons, and not all of them are immediately understandable to non-car people. The overall design of the Edge feels just a bit cluttered. More manufacturers have moved to more streamlined designs, and I just don't feel the Edge provides the very best user experience. Another example of this is the gauge cluster, which is controlled from the steering wheel. Why did Ford have navigation and entertainment on the right side but car info on the left side? Why did they just create one single screen to provide this information? This isn't a deal breaker, but it's something I felt needed to be fixed. The good news is that most Ford vehicles have moved away from the system, which I feel is dated and convoluted. Now, I did have issues with all the Ford Edge's interior systems. For one, I don't mind the rotary dial drive selector and the 12-inch touchscreen Sync 4 infotainment system, which does make the car feel a bit more modern. The dual automatic climate control system, most of the media is controlled through the screen. One positive is the 12-inch tablet-like Sync 4 infotainment system, which is fully touchscreen. It's definitely a cool touch. You can access your media, phone, as well as vehicle settings. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are fully supported. From here, as said before, you can control the heated seats, the heating steering wheel, as well as a dual automatic climate control system. I found the system to work well and had no complaints here. One positive is the seating and passenger comfort. I can criticize what I felt was a cluttered design style, but the leather seats are very comfortable for not only the front driver and passenger, but the rear passengers as well. I must give credit where credit is due, and the Ford Edge is noticeably comfortable. Furthermore was the red stitching on some of the panels, which I felt was done very well. One thing is you don't feel cramped in the Ford Edge, and the pillars are very generously placed outward, meaning the cabin area feels very roomy. One advantage of the Ford Edge is the trunk, which is very generously sized. The seats can fold down if you need more room. Tailgate is automatic, and you can activate it straight from the key. The spare wheel is stored on the trunk with a jack and roadside supplies. So now that we talked about the inside and the outside of the Ford Edge, let's talk about how it handles, and to which I would have some excellent news. In some ways, it does sadden me here that the Ford Edge will be discontinued next year. The Ford Edge is probably one of the most underrated handling SUVs on the face of the earth. One thing I noticed was just how stable it drove. Even at highway speeds, the Ford Edge is very planted and it feels connected to the road. Sometimes vehicles sway and you can feel them start to get a bit skittish at high speeds, but the Ford Edge just nails highway driving. On top of the suspension is excellent, keeping the edge flat around the corners, but keeping the ride smooth and refined. Even the engine's rumbling is kept at bay. One time I thought the car was off when in fact it was on. Now for a 4-banger, that's very impressive. Basically the Ford Edge inline 4 felt as smooth as a V6, which is no small feat. The Edge is also very quiet, which reduces fatigue. I can drive the Ford Edge for miles, it's that good in my opinion. When it comes to the engine, 250 horsepower is sufficient, but you're going to need to move up to the ST if you want more oomph. I do wish the base engine could have been a little bit more powerful. Again, while it's enough, when you stomp on the gas, it's not exactly heart-pounding acceleration. But then again, the engine is likely tuned toward fuel efficiency rather than pure performance. Last but certainly not least is the brakes. They are super sharp and they stop the Ford Edge on a dime. In fact, I thought they were ST brakes at first, they were that good. Overall, I really feel the Ford Edge nailed the handling, and I truly think that its drive performance is criminally underrated. So now that we're at the end of the review, I just want to thank you so much for sticking around to the end. The Ford Edge has surprisingly solid drive performance that's only let down by a dated and cluttered interior. I still think taken as a whole, the Ford Edge is a solid choice if you're in the market for a midsize SUV. That said, the Ford Edge will be soon discontinued, so it won't be along for that much longer. I hope you learned something from this review, and please tune in for another car review from the Student Driver Car Reviews coming soon. If you like what you saw today, please feel free to leave a like or a sub. Thank you.